Hello everyone. Today's video में I'm doing all the sorting algorithms in Python. ये like this is asked in the practical exams SPPU के. So SE के लिए at least. So like मेरा practical exam आ रहा है. So then I thought this would be a good practice as well. There are basically five which can be asked. I think इनमें से bubble sort and selection sort very rarely कभी पूछेंगे. But it's good to know. So these three have a time complexity of big of n, worst case, and इसका ये shell sort and quick sort का time complexity is n log n, which is worst case as well as average case. We'll start with bubble sort, which is like the most basic sorting algorithm ever. But before that, let's just create an array. Let's say number, and I'll make it of some 8 and 1. Okay, इतना ठीक है. Then we'll start with bubble sort का definition, right? So bubble sort में क्या होता है? The element bubbles up to the top. So अगर 9 है तो 9 अपनी correct position पे bubble होते 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 आएगा, right? So bubble sort में हम adjacent elements को ही compare करते हैं, which is why उसका time complexity इतना ये रहता है, like high रहता है, quadratic में आता है ना. So first we'll do n equals length of the array. So array एक parameter लेना पड़ेगा इधर से, right? n is length ले लिया. उसके बाद अभी we'll have to traverse the array from its start to the end. So for I in range 0 to n, yeah, you can actually just write n if you're like really lazy. That will also work because 0 is default value only, right? So अभी फर्स्ट हमारा इनर ये था आउटर लूप, जिससे जिससे विल ट्रेवर्स द एरे, राइट? इस लूप से विल ट्रेवर्स द एरे एंड फॉर j in range again this is supposed to be 0 से n minus I minus 1. ओके, ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि I should I जो है वो लास्ट वाले एलिमेंट्स को दर्शाएगा. सो बेसिकली इफ I is 0 तो एंड तक जाएगा j, बट इफ I is 1 तो एक एलिमेंट एंड से छोड़कर, सो जो लास्ट एलिमेंट ऑलरेडी बराबर जगह पे है उसको डिस्टर्ब नहीं करेगा वो, राइट? सो अच्छा वेट, लॉल सी प्लस प्लस की आदत लग गई मेरे को. या दिस इज सपोज्ड टू बी हैश इन पाइथन, राइट? सो एनीवेज अभी फॉर लूप के अंदर इफ we'll say array of so j और मतलब array का एक एलिमेंट और उसके बाद के एलिमेंट को, सो एडजेसेंट एलिमेंट्स को कंपेयर करें ना. सो वील डू array of j and array of j plus 1. सो अगर ये रहा देन वील स्वैप दीज टू एलिमेंट्स इफ द फर्स्ट वन द फॉर्मर इज ग्रेटर. उससे दैट्स द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल इन बबल सॉर्ट, राइट? सो array of j my bad not I, comma array of j plus 1 equals array of j plus 1 and r of j. There we've swapped these two. So put them as tuples. By putting them as tuples you can kind of swap them. Basically this is like a way to swap them, okay? Like it's a way worthwhile remembering. Or you can do it using temp as well. Nothing wrong with that. Right. So now that this is done, our basic sorting algorithm इधर ही खत्म होता है bubble sort. इतना ही है bubble sort में. It's not, yeah, it's like very difficult, right? इतना, this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines of code in Python, guys. I bet इतना challenging कभी कुछ किया नहीं रहेगा life में. And if you want, you can either return the array, return R, which is the sorted array, but I would suggest you print it. क्योंकि printing में क्या होता है कि you'll get a chance to do this pass percentile d and I plus 1. So इससे you can show कि कौन सा pass चल रहा है and what happened in which pass and कौन से pass पे actually sort हुआ है वो, right? So this is a good practice. Like I asked some of my teachers at my college and they strongly suggest you doing this. So just to see, bubble sort number ये है ना अपना. So right, I'm not printing it because anyways वो इसमें हो ही जाएगा. So yeah, look, pass 1 ये था और end में 1 2 4 7 8 9 sort हो गया and every pass का information you can see and this was the original array. So देखो 9 बबल होके फर्स्ट पास में अपने करेक्ट पोजीशन पे आया है. तो अब करेक्ट पोजीशन में आया है तो उसके साथ छेड़खानी क्यों करना ना. Just leave it there. That's the main purpose of this I minus 1 condition. This condition, which will be, any guesses, selection sort, right? So since I'm very hardworking, I'll just copy paste this. Okay, that kind of backfired. Yeah. Selection, the basic logic is कि we select the smallest uh, like element from the array and उसको first में डाल देते हैं बस खत्म. और वैसा एक एक करके we do that for all elements. So this is also very easy. What you do is first n से n को length of array कर दिया, then for loop of I in range 0 to n, 0 to n. ठीक है, you can write like बस n लिखा तो भी चलेगा, ऐसा कुछ नहीं. So this is the minimum element. This min will store the least value in the array. तो अभी के लिए we are assuming the least value to be 0 because I is starting at 0, right? तो उसको निकालने के लिए we'll do this j के अंदर का एक for loop and this will go from I to n क्योंकि अभी 0 से स्टार्ट हो रहा है but you don't want the one, मतलब जो भी नंबर है फर्स्ट में है उसको फिर से हिलाना नहीं है, वो just keep that constant only. तो इसकी वजह से स्टार्टिंग होता है. you'll get to know when we actually see the output, right? So उसके बाद for j in range I to n and if, अभी if में क्या डालेंगे, अगर array के minimum element से कोई और छोटा हो, so array of min is greater than array of j, then min equals j, and then we'll come out of the loop since this swapping has to be done only once after every pass. So array of I comma array of min equals array of min comma array of I. So this is like a cool hack you can use to swap it without temp or without, doing any addition subtraction. Yeah. So these are swapped, and this is where our we can add our prompt for pass. So I'll just say pass %LD and इधर आएगा I plus 1. I'm adding I plus 1 because वो 0 से start होगा, नहीं तो I का value पहले 0 है ना, so that will look odd. Yeah, done. This is a selection sort. And end में if you want, you can return the value. So return R. Right. Now we'll just call selection sort. No, not R. R. This is number ना. No. ठीक है. So yeah, this is our sorted array 1 2 4 7 8 9. So see, 1 जो था, जो least element था इसमें का, वो सबसे पहले इधर आ गया. And a very good way to check आपके elements के साथ क्या हो रहा है is by adding breakpoints. So अभी if I add a breakpoint over here, if I add a breakpoint over here and here, and I just run and debug. So this Python file, right? So it stopped first at min of I, and is watch me. You can add the names of variables which you want to watch. Okay, this took the built-in function min. We'll see. We'll watch I. I is actually already visible, so no need. We'll watch J, and we'll watch. Yeah, there's not really any need, but we'll say R. Okay. So now by using this step over, we can go to the next line. So for loop में गया, min became 0 because I was 0. Now it's getting compared. कुछ नहीं, एक बार हुआ. So ऐसे it's going, and now we're almost at the end. See, R, if you can see, got updated. Now 1 came at the beginning. Now it got printed. So ऐसा करते करते, actually this is how your entire program you can check step by step. Even exam में you can do this. Debugging is allowed. So if you think there's something wrong with the logic of your program, you can go and check and step by step ऐसे देख सकते हो. Right? So मैंने abort कर दिया क्योंकि we have to move on to. Yeah, but this is something you can do. It's good. It's a good practice, yeah. And now we'll start with insertion sort. Right, so insertion sort में what do you do? It's like inserting elements into the correct position. So first, so we'll just do our normal protocol again. Finding n equals length of r. Over here, if n is 1 now, we the array is already sorted. Why are we saying that? Is because we are kind of making a partition of the array. I'll actually show you a visual representation as well in the end, where it's like, yeah, it's pretty cool how all these sorting techniques can be visualized. Till then, for I in the range, so we'll go from 0 to n, obviously, which is the length. And then over here, we'll take a variable called key, which will contain array of I. It's basically for sorting the elements correctly. It's like you can think of key as a temp variable. Temp variable. Okay, we'll call it that in the comments. Obviously, I'm more comfortable with key. If you want temp, you can obviously name temp. I'm not like मैं किधर आने वाला हूँ तुम्हारा कोड देखने को. उसके बाद once you get the key, you have to take in j. J is another counter variable which will be one less than I. Now the reason why we're doing this is because I is actually going to start from 1. Yeah, my bad. So I is going to start from 1 ना, तो I minus 1 लिया तो जो sorted element का first है, that also we'll be able to compare. If yeah, it'll make more sense like थोड़ी देर में. So while j is greater than equal to 0 and array of j is array of j is greater than key. Yeah, so this is our while key condition. What this basically means is जब तक जो j काउंटर वेरिएबल है वो फर्स्ट एलिमेंट तक पहुंचता नहीं, द फर्स्ट एलिमेंट ऑफ द array which is at the 0th index, तब तक चलते रहो. एंड एक्टिवेट कब होगा ये? व्हेन array of j is greater than key. तो मतलब क्या कि जो हम ट्रेवर्स कर रहे हैं array को j से, if that is actually greater than what it is supposed to be, मतलब वो अपने required position पे नहीं है, तो हम उसको इस loop में लेंगे and then we'll kind of swap it over here. Or swapping is different over here since we have taken that temp variable ना, तो यहाँ पे swapping अलग है. This is j minus equals 1, so decremented j, and over here अभी array of min, actually not min, array of j plus 1 will be equal to key. Why array of j plus 1? क्योंकि array of j plus 1 इधर से ये हुआ डिस्प्लेस हुआ, राइट, एंड की तो array of i था स्टार्टिंग का, तो उसको हमने स्टोर कर लिया. दैट्स लिटरली ऑल. हाँ, सो दिस वाज द एंटायर इंसर्शन सॉर्ट टेक्निक. अभी नाउ इफ यू वांट यू कैन कम आउट ऑफ, नहीं लाइक while लूप के बाहर, बट फॉर लूप के अंदर you can add your prompt to print the passes. So pass, again this is like pretty normal now. I've been like doing this. Yeah, still I can't seem to get the hang of typing. It seems. Are done. ठीक है, एंड फिर अगर तुमको है बहुत मतलब इच्छा रिटर्न करने की कुछ, तो कर दो. क्या कुछ कुछ कोई कुछ नहीं बोलेगा. इंसर्शन सॉर्ट नो, नो अपने एरे का नाम और अपना काम तमाम. Haha. Done. Yeah, this should now give us a sorted array. So you see, first में number 4 यहाँ पे था. So now start कैसे हुआ? This was the sorted element सबसे पहले, फिर j increment हुआ. I mean j already I minus 1 था, right? तो हम लोग आगे गए basically, and आगे गए तो देखा कि 4 is greater than 4 is less than 9, which means that array of j is greater than key. तो वो swap हो गया. Same happened with 2, so it became 249. See 249 basically हो क्या रहा है कि ये जो है, wait, so this is basically our barrier. इसके लेफ्ट को जो भी होगा वो सॉर्टेड होगा, इसके राइट को जो भी है उससे अपने को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, जो भी आ जाए उसको सॉर्ट करना है. ठीक है, so this is exactly what we're doing. And अभी last में we have shell and quick sort remaining. So shell sort and quick sort are actually pretty nice. They're really fast, by the way. Very fast algorithms. उनका n log n time है, which is like very kind of close to linear time. It's not logarithmic. I know कि वहाँ पे लिखा है and it's quite misleading as well. But actual में n log n graph पे देखे ना तो it's actually quite close to linear as the values increase. But there's a new concept, gap का. So what is gap and why is gap and like उसका where are we going to use gap? How is gap? उससे like related सब डाउट दिक्कत परेशानी कष्ट संकट मुसीबत आपत्ति विपत्ति लोचल उल्फत सब क्लियर करने वाला हूँ डोंट वरी ओके अभी हमने हमने क्या किया है कि देयर इज अ गैप ऑफ n डिवाइडेड बाय फ्लोर डिवाइडेड बाय 2 नाउ व्हाई आर वी डूइंग दिस इज बिकॉज इधर देखो शेल सॉर्ट का मेन कंसेप्ट क्या है कि इसको डिवाइड करेंगे ठीक है एक सीक्वेंस है n फ्लोर डिवाइडेड बाय 2 इज शेल्स ओरिजिनल सीक्वेंस सो शेल्स ओरिजिनल सीक्वेंस है और हम शेल सॉर्ट यूज कर रहे हैं नहीं तो यू कैन एक्चुअली यूज एनी divisor there is sequences in which 4 is also used you can create your own sequence where 69 I mean I'm just giving hints okay so yeah but for 2 what happens is n को दो पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया जाता है so for here इस केस में n is 6 ना सो सिक्स को दो पार्ट में डिवाइड किया तो तीन तीन आ गए सो 942 एंड 781 वी गेट करेक्ट सो इसमें क्या होगा कि 9 लाइक 7 को विल कंपेयर विथ 9 एंड 8 को विल कंपेयर विथ 4 सिमिलरली 1 को विल कंपेयर विथ 2 राइट सो ऐसा करते करते वी विल सॉर्ट देम और डोंट थिंक कि ये गैप कांस्टेंट रहने वाला है इट विल डिक्रीज इसको फिर से फ्लोर डिवाइड करेंगे वॉट एवर नंबर यू टेकन ना उससे सो एज यू डिक्रीज इट 3 के बाद इस केस में इट विल बिकम 1 सो 1 सो 9 को 4 से कंपेयर किया जाएगा राइट 2 को 7 से कंपेयर किया जाएगा 8 को 1 से कंपेयर किया जाएगा again it will switch out and then सब like correct place पे arrange होंगे that's the main logic behind insertion sort, shell sort my bad sorry so okay moving on abhi we'll first do a while loop so while where do we have to stop we have to stop when gap becomes zero so in any language like zero को boolean में जब convert करते हैं तो it is false so one is true zero is false इसलिए while will continue until and unless gap becomes zero ठीक है now we'll have to traverse the array in some way so उसके लिए for I in the range यहाँ पे we'll traverse from gap to n q gap to n I just showed you we're going to compare these elements with these elements अगर आपको you feel like कि ना मेरे को वैसा अच्छा नहीं लगता so you can go from 0 to n as well so 0 से gap तक आप loop चलाओ and उसी हिसाब से you figure things out okay that is also possible and if you want that's like it's equally effective ऐसा कुछ है नहीं उसमें output वगैरह नहीं आएगा so again key as array we are taking it as a temp variable you know what I'll just name it temp इसलिए I don't name it temp VS Code auto corrections is there a way to there's probably a way to close them also so anyways j is equal to 1 लिया है हमने because here we're going to add a condition while j is greater than equal to the gap and array of j minus gap is greater than key राइट। ये किया, इफ यू डू दिस देन क्या होगा कि जब जब array of j minus gap is greater than key, मतलब क्या कि ओके सो j से यहाँ पे है तो j माइनस गैप, सो j माइनस थ्री क्या होगा, 1 2 3, ये अगर ये इज ग्रेटर देन दिस देन वील स्टार्ट स्वैपिंग, राइट। तो इसको इधर लाएंगे, फिर इसको, ये 9 को सिलेक्ट करेंगे, 9 को इधर लाएंगे, ऐसा करते जाएंगे हम, ठीक है। तो that's why we've written that. एंड j इज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू गैप, बिकॉज गैप से नीचे गया तो फिर आउट ऑफ बाउंड चला जाएगा। 3 - 3 किया तो 0 होता है, और 3 माइनस ये 4 किया तो -1 आता है। या सिंपल बेसिक एडिशन, नो रॉकेट साइंस गाइस। तो फिर अभी इधर विल स्वैप इट फॉर आर ऑफ j विथ आर ऑफ j माइनस गैप। मेक सेंस ऑल्सो ना, क्योंकि आप जो एलिमेंट ग्रेटर है उसको लेस वाले एलिमेंट से सब्ट्रैक्ट कर रहे हो, and then you decrement I by the interval itself. We decrement j with the interval. 1 से decrement नहीं करना है इधर, okay? Please take note of this. This is very important. If you mess this up ना, तो क्या होगा कि आपके elements duplicate होंगे। Like same element दो तीन जगह पे दिखेगा, जो actual में एक ही बार दिखना चाहिए। Okay, then j को भी हमने decrement किया, तो now we'll come out of the for loop, the while loop, sorry. एंड जो j है, जिसकी वैल्यू हमने डिस्ट्रॉय कर दी, बेसिकली वही किया है ना, वील रिप्लेस दैट विथ की, ओके। हाँ, सो इसके दिस इज डन नाउ, आवर बेसिक सॉर्टिंग एल्गोरिथम इज डन। जस्ट वन थिंग यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड इज, यहाँ पे गैप को हमको फ्लोर डिवाइड करना है, okay? This is where you should write your prompt if you wish to write it. Pass, इसके लिए ना we need a extra variable, okay? So I'm going to use a counter variable इधर, I'll just write ctr, अभी के लिए it will say it is not defined but I will define it, okay? इधर I'll define ctr as 0 0 and इसके पहले increment ctr, so 1 there, done. So now our shell sort is also complete. Shell sort, our array name no, and as we proceed to debug it, see 244999. So over here we have to actually subtract j with the gap, not I, right? Okay, my bad. I was just thinking कि यार yeah, वो फिर से duplicate क्यों हो रहा है? So you saw ना कि उसको gap से subtract करना है. If you subtract it by 1 or even I in this case, yeah, it messes up. तो अभी अभी सही आएगा, डोंट वरी। हाँ, अब मेरे को विश्वास है। सो सी गाइस, सही आ गया। इट्स 1 2 4 7 8 9, सॉर्ट हो गया ना। सी पहले 7 7 था इधर, ये 9, 7 और 9 स्वैप हो गए, देन 7 4 4 और ये स्वैप हो गया। एक्चुअली नहीं, पास 2 में कुछ नहीं हुआ। वेट, जस्ट हाँ, अब यू विल सी इट मोर करेक्टली। हाँ, सो पास 1 एंड पास 2 ही एक्चुअली, बिकॉज दो ही बार ये होगा ना। या सो पास 1 पास 2, व्हाट हैपेंस इज पास 1 में 7 एंड 9 आर स्वैप्ड, एंड देन पास 2 में ये और ये स्वैप हो गए और ये अपनी सही जगह पे आ गए. Same with this and this. These two got swapped and they came over here. So basically, two times gap update हुआ and वो pass हो गया. If you want, you can look it up in detail यहाँ पे in the debug menu. Right? So now shell sort is done. Now we'll move on with the best sort, which is quick sort. Why is it the best sort, you ask? Because I don't know, I just like it. ऐसे time pass. So quick sort में ना दो functions रहते हैं. First is partition वाला, second is the actual quick sort वाला. So partition वाले function में what we do is low और high लेते हैं तीन parts and we actually partition out the elements. इसका मतलब क्या है कि first we'll take a pivot. Okay, so pivot equals, in this case I am taking सबसे rightmost element as my pivot. Okay, now for, and I'll take j or I equals low minus 1, low minus 1, and for j in range we'll go from low to high. So इससे क्या होता है कि इस for loop में we'll traverse from low to high and every time pivot is smaller than any element in j का array, we will increment I. Okay, that's how it's supposed to work. Yeah, so excuse me. Okay, I was muted. So if r of I, sorry, if r of j is less than equal to pivot. See, if it is less than equal to pivot, why is quick sort an unstable, considered as an unstable algorithm, is because of this one line. क्योंकि अगर r of j is equal also equal to pivot ना, तभी भी वो swap करेगा. So आपको पता नहीं चलेगा कि सीक्वेंस कैसा था जो सेम नंबर्स का. व्हाट आई एक्चुअली मीन इज बाय दिस कि अभी देखो यहाँ पे इन दिस, इफ यू कंसिडर्ड दिस एज 9 आल्सो, सो बाकी के सारे एल्गोरिदम्स क्या करेंगे सॉर्ट करते टाइम ना, जो पहला 9 है उसको पहले ही रखेंगे और जो दूसरा 9 है उसको इसके बाद लाके छोड़ देंगे. ठीक है. आई नो देयर इज नो सच वे टू आइडेंटिफाई कि अरे ये पहला 9 था ये दूसरा 9 था. But this is something they can ask you in theory. What is stable, what is unstable? So quick sort is basically an unstable sorting algorithm because वो ऐसे कुछ भेदभाव नहीं करता 9 में. It sees it as numbers and वो sort कर देगा कैसे भी order में आपके same numbers को. This is kind of important if you know your 9 is linked to some data or something. So yeah, so like if 9 is linked to your name and और एक 9 है जो आपके दोस्त के नाम से linked है तो वो ऑर्डर शफल हो जाएंगे. Yeah, so that's one reason why quicksort may not be preferred in other like implementation softwares में. What is the disadvantage of this sorting algorithm अगर उन्होंने पूछा तो mostly पूछेंगे ही नहीं dude. Yeah, they'll just probably look at your code का output and like leave you like ठीक है जाओ अभी हो गया. But it's better to be prepared now. So see over here, I am swapping these two variables. देखा कि if j, array of j इज लेस देन इक्वल टू द पिवट। तो मैंने आई को इंक्रीमेंट किया, एंड जहाँ जहाँ पे आई इंक्रीमेंट हो रहा है उधर से मैंने आई और जे को स्वैप कर दिया, राइट। सो उससे क्या हुआ कि जो आई का एलिमेंट है ना, दैट इज नाउ प्लेस्ड एट इट्स करेक्ट पोजिशन एंड डन। उसके बाद जब ये फॉर लूप खत्म हो जाएगा तो वी विल स्वैप array of pivot, actually array of high in this case, don't say pivot, but pivot ही है logically, हमने बस उसको एक नाम दे दिया array of pivot करके array of high को, and this should be I plus 1, sorry not hmm, equals array of plus 1 array of high, ठीक है। सो अभी लाइक मेन काम तो हो गया है, दिस वाज द ओनली थिंग इम्पोर्टेंट इन क्विक सॉर्ट। उसके बाद सब रिकर्सिव कॉल्स ही है, एंड इसमें ऑल्सो ना देयर इज नो एज सच पर्टिकुलर वे ऑफ सेइंग कि पास कौन सा है। सो जस्ट पुट print arrow over here so that every time it is called na you will at least get to know, or you can even place it here in the for loop. Wait, you'll place it in the for loop, ठीक है। So this is done, and we'll have to return pivot, sorry I plus 1 not pivot, I plus 1 will return, क्योंकि I plus 1 is now where the pivot actually went now। pivot अभी I plus 1 वाले लोकेशन पे गया, तो अभी I plus 1 वाली जो लोकेशन है that will divide those two like the parent array into two parts। Now we take okay, so quick sort, ये this is basically recursive function only, कि वो खुद को कॉल करेगा एंड एक बार पार्टीशन को कॉल करेगा, ओके। So yeah, this is much easier than partition। इसका what the base condition is if low is greater than high, sorry if low is less than high। So if low is less than high इसका मतलब कि you have like a non-zero element का array ना। Yeah, it means कि you have a non-zero element का array ना, मतलब आपका length negative नहीं है, ठीक है। तो that's what that means। उसके बाद then we'll just give calls to our partition function। We'll write a pivot over here too, pivot, see वो global scope है, so this doesn't really affect इधर का pivot, and we put low r and high minus 1, high minus 1 यहाँ पे, क्योंकि if you put high over here ना it will go out of range। यहाँ पे not in follow but pivot r high दिया है, so it has to be high minus 1 over here। now pivot को value मिलेगी I plus 1 की, so from here you call quick sort again, one with low r high, ठीक है। ऐसे दो बार करना है, so, but first time में the low will actually be pivot, ठीक है। pivot minus 1 pivot plus 1 होगा एक, and high will be pivot minus 1, yeah। so ऐसा करके your quick sort is also done। now we can like test it out, एक minute। so you call quick sort, no which is our array, ठीक है। you have to give a low and high as well, right। हाँ, no and length of no, so you can put this in directly, there's no need to, हाँ यहाँ पे -1 करने की there is no need, because high -1 we're already doing. Or if you feel like it's confusing na, so don't do this. You can directly इधर से -1 करो. Done. Now this is your answer. हाँ, but we have to print it somewhere. So yeah, वो यहाँ पे print किया है ना R, वहाँ पे दिख जाएगा. So 1 4 2 7 8 9. Okay, we are actually seeing the partitions. The array is sorted. So इधर print करते हैं. Okay, else में when the condition fails, print array. Okay, won't print this. See, yeah. So our array has been sorted. 1 2 4 7 8 9. Yeah, and that's all the sorting algorithms. So now I'll show you like a visualization of sorting algorithms. Right, so okay, so I've set it up over here. So this is a sort visualizer. This is actually a website. I'll provide a link to this in the bio. It's a really nice website. Yeah, like यहाँ पे you can actually visualize the way like the coding का visual representation दिखता है ना. So like for bubble sort, let's just see. So it's slowly traveling to the end. So ये element bubbled to the end. This is the हाँ. So ऐसा एक करके all the elements are actually going to the end. So now you can actually go and look this up. I'll just speed it up a bit by actually just finishing it. If you want, we can like do this for less number of elements, like 35 करते हैं. Right? We'll shuffle these up, and now we can do bubble sort for this. Although it is so slow, yeah, you can understand why it's having quadratic time now. This is like the slowest one of them all, and it's like really dumb. कि मतलब there's no as such logic. बस adjacent elements को compare करते 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 जाओ. अगर नहीं मिला तो go straight to the end, और अगर मिल गया तो swap. बस. There's no as such logic. So you could hear probably the noise coming in. Yeah. So there's like all sorts of algorithms: gnome, odd even sort, radix sort, bitonic sort, shell sort. So after bubble sort, we had selection sort. So we'll go with that. And obviously elements come करेंगे. So you'll have to increase the volume a bit. I don't know if the site's volume is less. Okay, we'll start sorting. So if you could see, I'll show you again. So see, the least elements are getting arranged over here सबसे पहले. So जो सबसे छोटे वाले वो सामने आ रहे हैं धीरे धीरे, and जो पीछे वाले वो swap होते होते they're getting arranged. After selection we have insertion, so we'll see insertion. Insertion sort is actually worth seeing ज़्यादा quantity में. See over here. This particular bar is like the partition, और जो भी आ रहा है वो arrange होते होते जा रहा है. Like अभी जो next आएगा that will go way to the end. ये यहाँ पे गया. So ऐसा करते करते it's getting inserted into the right place. That's actually how it works. So we'll just do this for 10 elements quickly. Okay. Okay, apparently it does it slower for less number of elements. But you get the idea कि ऐसा दिखता है वो after getting sorted. Actually now I'll do for 10 elements only. But अभी next वाले जो है, so we have shell sort now. Let's go for shell sort. Shell sort is actually pretty fast. So shell sort के लिए we'll do 100 elements. And you'll see how it's like divided into two. So this two, दो gap में divide हुआ you see. It's like उन दोनों के बीच का gap is constant. The blue and the red bars. And you can see there's like towers forming with certain gap के intervals. अभी वो merge होंगे. Right, so that was shell sort. Also, the sound effects are like pretty dope. Not gonna lie. Right, so this is quick sort. Quick sort is really quick. So let's actually, I'm saying let's take 1,000 elements. Yeah, look at that sound. That's dope. Okay, we'll start sorting them. Guys, so quick sort is actually, even though the time complexity is actually the same, it is the fastest. It is scary fast how quick sort works. See, it just is getting sorted. Yeah, so pivot के हिसाब से it's getting swapped. And if you want to see this website, you can go. I'll provide you like the reference ka links. This is made by Daniel Scanu, Tomasi Tovoli, and Odd L of Larson. I'm sorry if I pronounced the names incorrectly. But yeah, it's pretty dope. Like you should check it out. It's worth, and they have like all sorts of, yeah. They got quick merge, heap, bubble, selection, gnome, shaker, radix, Bitonic, even bogo sort, and you can make your own sorting algorithms too and like look at them visually. So, if you want to come up with your own shell sequence with 69 as the gap, you can come over here and check it out the way it works. Okay, yeah, actually we could probably check it over here. Let's see. Test it. Okay, you know what? I'm not actually going to show you what this works. You can head over here and check it for yourself. So bye bye.